and welcome to this edition of X's and Row, the video mailbag series that takes your questions online and in the private chat, and it answers them to the best of your ability. I'm your boy Ro, contributor for State of the U and OG member of the Orange Bowl Boys, and Tim has a great one from the chat. How do you think Alabama is going to attack what many feel is the weakest group on Miami's defense, the linebackers? Great question. Now, last year, Steve Sarkisian, on the screen right now, this is what scares me, Tim. I'm going to tell you, the screen game. Alabama, right here, you'll notice just a lot of movement, a lot of motion, and you can confuse the Miami defense this way. We saw Clemson last year using some motion, using some shifts. And if you can get a linebacker similar to what they did right here against Missouri, you have a linebacker that basically got washed in. He took a lot of the flow bait with him. This is the play that scares me to death. This is a simple pass into the flats that's going to go ahead and be a touchdown with the speed that they have at the running back position. So what can Miami do to combat that? Just a lot of film review, Tim. They're going to just have to go back there. They're just going to have to not take the flow bait. What I mean by flow bait, there's going to be a lot of shifts. There's going to be a lot of motions. They're going to try to get you to move around. I've always said this. This is a rule that I've heard, and I love it. You don't have to be smarter than Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator. You just have to be smarter than his players. And that's what Alabama is going to try to do with a lot of this flow bait and shifts. So a lot of film review, a lot of study, but they're going to have to get the speed to combat speed. So take a step faster, do a little bit more film prep and review, look at all these big plays that they had throughout the year, get used to their shifts, have a great game plan for it, and make sure that you combat the speed with speed. All I do know is this, is that if you try to go ahead and march the linebackers that you had last year and turn around and put them this year, and I know we had to change the position. McLeod's now at the defensive line position. It's just not going to go well for you. So that is what I think we could do to combat it. Great question, Tim. This is a great question, once again, coming from the OBB private chat, but this is our president and CEO, Scotty B., who asks, what is D'Eric's biggest flaw? Is it fixable? And how do you fix? I'm going to go back last year again to Clemson because defensive mastermind, in my opinion, Brett Venables, their defensive coordinator, has this propensity to wipe teams out completely. And there was chatter and buzz on the street, even all the way up to the NFL level, that if you could keep D'Eriq King in the pocket and just force him to be a pocket passer, his efficacy is going to drop. So now you have the horses to do it like Clemson did. They did it, and you saw the performance that Miami had. Obviously, 17 points wasn't enough to get it done. Very pedestrian offense. And that's the thing where I think D'Eriq King is going to need to improve this year, especially coming off that ACL injury. Now, all intents and purposes, all the reports, he's going to be fine. He's going to be ready to go. They don't see really a big drop-off. But when you play those teams who make that same similar game plan where they're going to spy you, where they're going to delay blitz you, where they're going to force you to stay in the pocket, that's when I think Rhett Lashlee can have a game plan strictly for that, right? Just, all right, we're going to just be a pocket passer. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do a couple concepts that we're going to learn. We're going to march down the field in that kind of a traditional sense instead of the RPO. We're going to design that quarterback read capacity because when they're taking that away, then it's just bubble or bust. So I really think that you can help. I think he could fix that. He's a dynamic player. Listen, he's still on the Heisman Award watch list coming off an ACL injury. He's a special type talent. Is it fixable? Absolutely, it's fixable. This is the guy you need to lead your program this year, especially week 1 against Alabama. I wish him all the best of luck in the world. Once again, Scotty, great question. My brothers from the OBB chat coming strong today. Max Buck 1, aside from King, who's the biggest X factor for Miami to stay in the game? I love the fact that you called it an X factor, because my X factor is going to be Xavier Restrepo. Yeah, OBB brand ambassador, and I'm not saying that just because of that. He could be a brand ambassador for another pod. I'm telling you, I'd still pick this cat. But there's technical side to this, because as a wide receiver, I think he's going to be on the field game 1. He's always showed supreme confidence. This stage is not too big for him. Camp reports are already telling him no matter what quarterback he's there, he's got good chemistry. He works his tail off. He's a consummate gym rat. And it's going to take somebody like Xavier Restrepo to go ahead and step up, because the way Alabama operates, it's Bill Belichickian, right? It's going to do everything in its power to take away what you do best, and that's going to be D'Eriq King. They're going to try to confuse Badger D'Eriq King. If you could do that and bottle up the run game, then you're going to have to count on the Miami wide receivers So they're going to focus on Charleston Rambo. They know who Mike Harley is. So then there's going to be your opportunity for a sleeper to come in and potentially get 6-7 catches for a buck something and one tutty. And that could be Xavier Restrepo. He could go ahead and operate. He can get open in a phone booth. And this is the guy that we're going to need opposite of Mike Harley and Charleston Rambo to step up this year. And I think he will. So great question. Thank you. Hey, Ryan. My dyslexia is gone now. How you doing, bud? It's Rasky from the private OBB chat, and he asks, which Miami running back will have the greatest success against the vaunted Bama defense, and who will get the most carries? Great question. Now, if Don Chaney can come back healthy, which me personally, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it so that he is the guy who's going to lead in carries week one. Potentially take some carries, yes. Lead in carries, no. So then the obvious 1A, 1B to this question and answer would be, is it going to be Cam or is it going to be the Rooster, Jalen Knighton? And I personally think it's going to be number 4. Just speed kills. And against Alabama, you're going to need that. And often and early when you're matching their speed with their speed, I would like to see Jalen Knighton. He needs to be a little bit more patient. Trust his offensive line, which I think makes a big jump this year for us. I think he just needs to trust the hole, not try to maybe bounce it too quick, and then when he has his opportunity, use his speed, get downfield, get positive yardage. So in my opinion, I think Jalen Knighton's going to be there. Now, Rhett Lashley made a lot of waves because he said, I just want a premier back. I want a bell cow back. And you think about the amount of plays that the University of Miami run. I mean, they could get in excess of 60, 70 plays. You throw half of that, you got 40 carries. You're not going to have a running back 40 carries. A bell cow back for the Miami Hurricanes in this style of offense is going to be about, 20 carries. So I can see a potential where Jalen Knighton could get up to 20 carries, and then you're splitting carries beyond that. I don't think we're going to have a back carry 30, 40 times here. I don't think that's what Rhett Lashley means. But the bulk of carries, Alabama, I think it's this dude. Loans. Lone Star. It's Loans. My crime-stopping vigilante wingman from the OBB chat asks, if you could swap a player, same position with Bama, who would you choose? And on the screen is going to be my final answer. However, before we get there, interesting that I didn't pick the left tackle because Evan Neal is a stud, is an absolute stud. But that's how much Zion Nelson has improved. And take a second to kind of like revel in that fact that you wouldn't unilaterally wholesale trade them out, especially when you go back to 2 seasons ago and how much trouble Zion Nelson had holding up against Florida week 0 at that left tackle position. Now, in this case, I'm going to go ahead. This man's a beast. Will Anderson, freshman All-American, had 7 sacks in his final 6 games, which was 3rd in the SEC. This guy's a beast. You take him for any one of our linebackers at this point. I don't care who. You put him immediately, you implant him on the field, and he's going to be the difference maker that you need. And Miami is going to have to up its ball game at the linebacker recruiting position. I like what you guys are doing at the cornerback position. This guy right here was very, very vocal about a change at that certain coaching position. I did not mince words. I said it for the better part of 3 years. I'm going to jump off that train because you can see what quality coaching recruiting looks like at that position. You're going to now have to jump on that linebacker train now as well. You're just going to have to get that same kind of talent that you're bringing into the program because this is a guy you would need to trade right now if you could. This is turning into an OBB chat exclusive. I love it. And Tony Valdez with another one. With the perceived issues that we're having at linebacker, what can Manny Diaz do to offset that? And before I get to that man over there and some of the things that you can do, if you look at the roster, it's starting to materialize that way. You just got to be able to put the talent on the field and just shift. You started to stack chips at the safety position. I like what you did at the striker position, and now you're starting to see it move. So Keontre Smith looks to be your will backer, right? So that was a move that kind of precipitated what I just talked about. You're going to have Corey Flagg, I believe, is going to be your Mike 1, and rightfully so. And now you're going to have Gilbert Frierson. So you go back versus a year ago, the two linebackers that were habitually on the field are no longer going to be on the field. And I think you get upgrades there with Smith, Flagg, and Frierson, because your striker position, as a reminder, that is kind of like a hybrid. That is a linebacker position for me. All right. It's a flex position, but it's also a hybrid position. You can count that as a linebacker position. When you didn't have any of the linebackers last year in the top 50 in tackles, Miami had to make a change. So you still have Bubba Bolden. You still have Hall at the safety position. You can bring down Carter, who's now listed as a striker as well. So you're starting to see that shift. And that's what Miami's going to have to do, and maybe find a way to get Agent Zero on the field. That is a talented dude, number one safety in the land coming in, Mr. Williams. Get him in a hybrid position as well. Get him close along the line to a striker position, linebacker position. Get him with a hand in the dirt once in a while. He could be a difference maker, even though he's a freshman. And you got to go back to the last question, too. That guy was a freshman for Alabama. He was a freshman All-American. So some dudes just can come in and play early. I think Williams is a guy that can challenge that. So that's what I would do. Just get the safeties and shift them.